Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hiten and Ed Ventures podcast. Just kidding. But yeah, today I got a guest, Hiten Trivedi. He is a dear friend and fellow vegetarian. And Hiten, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit? He also streams. Oh no. Wait, they can't hear Hiten. Hang on.
Much later.
You can't hear. Oh, okay, good.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Yeah, I was getting
All right.
emotional.
Why don't you reintroduce yourself?
Hey guys, so I'm Hiten. I've been friends with Ed for well over 6 years now. We went to college
Almost
together.
10, right?
Wait, what?
Is it almost 10 now? I don't know.
No. It's like a little bit over 6, reaching into
Okay.
7.
I can't
Yeah, we're reaching into 7. Yeah, the 7th year. We met through a mutual friend in undergrad, and we've been deeply connected ever since as good friends. So I also live stream on Twitch. I do a lot of variety. I mainly play a game similar to Dance Dance Revolution called Statmania, which is like a more open source version of Dance Dance Revolution. But I also like to engage in various other random activities. So I'm here joining Ed to
Eating a
talk.
pizza by yourself.
Yeah,
on
so I
stream.
live streamed myself eating a large pizza by myself, and it was probably my most popular stream. So I think
That was your like most viewed stream, right?
I got 1,200 bits.
Oh my God.
I even got money. So
Great.
yeah, it's pretty wild. And this is something I've been wanting to talk about for a long time, especially with Ed, since he's one of my very, very few friends who's also been to Malaysia. And I never really got to compare and contrast our memories. I've been there twice, and yeah, I felt like this would be like a great outlet for us to actually have this talk, have this discussion, and answer any questions people may have about, our experiences and what to expect if you were to ever go.
Yeah. So we also asked him before, which he got cut off, when he went to Malaysia and how many times. I've only been once in 2011. But Hiten, how many times have you been?
Yeah, so So my first time was September 2017. So it's been 3 years and 5 months since I first landed in the country. And then I went back again 11 months after in August 2018, which doesn't seem that long ago in my head. But again, 2 years and 6 months, almost 2.5 years, like kind of insane how long it's been and how fresh my memories are. And I mean, it was a good enough time to go back again. So yeah, definitely we'll be speaking more on that when we get deeper and deeper into the lore of our journeys.
The lore. The Hiten Ed lore.
The Hiten Ed lore.
Yeah, we actually prepared some questions so we'd stay somewhat on track, which, totally went out the window with the audio problem, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Found our way back. We've only been streaming for 15 minutes. So, but yeah, so I'm curious why you went to Malaysia. Like, what was it about Malaysia, or did you have a friend there? Or like, how did you find yourself in that country? Because it is not like a top tourist destination for people from the US, at least. It's kind of like a unique pick.
So there's so many ways I want to tackle this question. Well, I'll start off with my general interest. So in 2017, I was working full time at a big pharma biotech company as a scientist, and I had this deep wanderlust to travel. So I had already been regularly going to Japan to see friends here and there, and I actually want to make a trip that broadened my horizons more so and made me throw me into a whole different environment. And this was also a big time where I was kind of digging deeper and deeper into who I am as a person, being Indian American. And I was really curious to see how I am perceived as an Indian person in all these various countries. And what's really interesting about Malaysia and Singapore is like they have their own kind of Indian, like Malaysian Indians or Singaporean Indians who have their lineage in Malaysia or lineage in Singapore. And I can only read so much online, but I was kind of curious to see like how do these people how are these people in society? Like how do I compare? How do I contrast? Because if I don't time has told again and again that I don't fit in India whatsoever. So I was kind of curious to see how it'd be in Malaysia. So that was like my initial interest in actually wanting to visit the country and kind of just see how I vibe with it. How about you?
So yeah, I was living in China in 2011. It was my first time in another country and first time traveling alone. I was 19 at the time, so you do the math on my age. I'm an old one. But yeah, basically, I was already in China, and my best friend, his roommate in college was a Chinese Malaysian person, and he had come up to visit us, and we hung out for like a week or so, and we hit it off. And then when I was in China, my friend was actually in Japan, and our friend who was from Malaysia was like, "Hey, I'm home for the summer. Why don't you two come visit? Like, Ed'll come from China, and my other friend, he could come from Japan." So we did that, and it was 10 days in Malaysia, and we stayed with him at his house, which was awesome. And we actually took a side trip to Thailand for 3 days, which was really random. Like in the middle of this trip, we like decided last minute, let's go to Thailand. That's a whole other story in and of itself. I'm not gonna touch that here. But yeah, I think like what really hit me about Malaysia is like it was so random for me. Like I didn't really know anything about it at the time, and I was like, wow. So like, what other opportunity will I get in my life to go stay with someone in their house in another country? Little did I know that I would have that opportunity a lot in the future, luckily. But at the time, I was like, that's a great opportunity, and I'm gonna take them up on it and just go with it. And it was honestly one of the best trips of my life. It was so awesome. And it was like I tell people this all the time about Malaysia. I feel like I still would have had fun if I had went without knowing anybody. It would have been fine, but I just didn't know enough about the culture to really know what to do. And like I'm not one for guided tours or anything like that. I never liked that. So I would have kind of just been wandering around, just doing some tourist sightseeing things, and I feel like my experience would have been kind of dry or empty. But because I stayed with a Malaysian person in their house, it was amazing and it was so chill. And I tell people if they're going to go to Malaysia and you're not like having any kind of ties to Malaysia yourself and you don't necessarily know about the culture, like I would highly recommend staying with a Malaysian person, like someone who lives there, and you're going to have an amazing time. But if you go by yourself, I don't know. I honestly don't know if I'd recommend it over other countries,
I totally want to echo Ed's point on that. Like, I should probably explain how I managed to meet people in Malaysia or how I tried to meet people in Malaysia prior to arriving to the country. But I will wholeheartedly admit that it will be a completely different experience if you go there alone, just as like a solo expat going through the streets, just trying to vibe and see how you feel. It's so much better with a native, a local who can really show you around, get you into those nitty gritty places, take you outside the city to their favorite Mamak, like right outside in like the greater Kuala Lumpur area, which is something we'll definitely be talking about, especially the Mamak word and the whole origin of that and what it really means in, Malaysian night culture. So
Yeah.
this was February 2017. I had ultimately decided to take a trip in the fall to Asia. I was like kind of planning everything out. So I paid I paid for global Tinder. So
That's a power move.
I
That's
paid
like
for global Tinder.
a global power move.
I paid
That's
for global
amazing.
Tinder. Yeah. So I paid for global Tinder, set my location to Malaysia, and see if I can just like connect with anyone. I mean, it was just kind of worth it, paid for it for a month, just kind of, see where it can take me, if there's anyone I can connect with through Instagram or Facebook, and like kind of like form that friendship before, entering the country. Mind you, I didn't buy any flights yet. I was just kind of like testing it out. I had every intention of going to the country, but, you know,
I have
I
a lot
couldn't.
of questions about this global Tinder.
You can. What do you mean? What do you mean? You can set your location pretty much anywhere in the world. Is that?
No, I know. But I'm number one, I want to know how much it costs.
I don't know. It
Number
was. I think
two,
it's changed a lot. What's up?
I want to know if you set your Tinder to just women or because you were looking for friends as a heterosexual male, did you set it to like any gender? I'm curious.
So
'Cause
I
you
used I used Tinder in the traditional way. I set it to women only.
So you just wanted to like you want to say like, okay, I'm looking for friends, guys. Listen, I'm going to Malaysia. That's a good
I'm,
line though. To be honest, that's a good line.
yeah. I mean, like, if you're a sincere person,
Yeah, yeah.
so like, end of the story pretty much is like I actually managed to connect with two really cool people that I'm still close with to this day. I'm more close with one of them. So I connected with one of my long term friends now. We were just talking on WhatsApp a lot. We had a lot in common, just really vibed. So, but we talked for a few months pretty regularly, and then there was this distance during like the summer, and I'm like, okay, that's fair. We get busy, and then I had booked my flights and everything later into the summer, like July, August, for my entire September into August trip, which I was actually going to 5 countries in total: South Korea, Japan, Malaysia, Singapore, and Thailand. So I had
Awesome.
connections, and yeah, it was an amazing time, and we can definitely talk more about that later. But I had connections from the internet or friends in every country besides Malaysia. So it was like, okay, we haven't talked in a while, but I'm gonna try to reopen this door. I messaged her again, and it took her a while to reply. And she's like, "Okay, yeah, sure, yeah, we'll meet up. Really excited to meet you. You know, prior to that, we had actually had a number of video calls, like phone calls, just kind of, getting to know each other. And yeah, so my one and only person I knew in Malaysia was a really awesome girl I met off Tinder, and we met for the first time when she picked me up from my Airbnb in her car. And
That
there's definitely more to say about that, but I want Ed's reaction first.
well, yeah, I see. I'm very curious about the whole Tinder situation. Like,
Yeah, sure.
okay, so obviously you matched with this person.
Yeah.
So when you're looking for people to be friends with in Malaysia, you set it to women, you matched with these people. Did they think that you were in Malaysia or did they know that you were in the US, like looking to
So
come to Malaysia?
so it shows you the distance you are from someone. So there's a clear indication that I'm not in Kuala
Yeah,
Lumpur.
like
But
1,000 miles away.
however, I do very much remember when I had this initial exchange with my friend in 2017. We were like just like shooting back and forth, and she's like, "Are you even in KL?" And I'm like, no, I'm in New York ish, ish."
Did
Like,
did she think that you lived there, but you were like in New York temporarily, or what was
yeah,
the deal
maybe
there?
because like again, like I want to echo my initial point. Like, there is a strong Indian population in Malaysia. It's not
Right.
like awkward. It's not like weird to see. Not, I wouldn't call it weird in America, but like there's definitely, if Indians make up almost 10% of the population in your immediate surroundings, that's going to show up in your dating apps. So
Right.
yeah,
It'd be more
so
like someone's Italian American, maybe
yeah,
around here.
yeah,
It's more of like a very common national or ethnic background.
yeah. So it was just a very quick sort of deal, like just explaining that, hey, I just kind of put myself in Malaysia. I have interest in going to the country. Um, I it was just very clear, like, what can I really accomplish from being all the way in the States? And
Right. That's
especially like if that's how you start off meeting, then yeah, I was just looking for anyone I could even have a conversation with to take me around. Because
So
when I
you were
first
like right swiping on everyone basically, or
no, I was a bit selective. Or
okay.
not every.
I
I
see.
mean,
I see.
maybe I don't know.
You're
Let's not
like,
get into that.
this
We don't-
person doesn't seem like they'd be a good friend for me. Okay.
Friend. Yeah, I'm looking for friends.
That's like, honestly though, that's so cool. Like you're a very like, I don't know if this is a compliment. I mean it as a compliment, but I feel like you're a very experimental person. Like you will experiment with new ways of living in ways that a lot of my other friends won't. Like I don't know many other friends that would do that. I think it's awesome personally, but like, thinking like, okay, how do I get a connection here? Instead, like a lot of people might just go around by themselves or be like, oh, I'll go to a hostel, right? Like that's more of like the like typical way to meet people there. But then when you go to a hostel, you're not meeting locals. You're meeting
Yeah.
other travelers. So you could have an awesome experience with these other people of like, you're all discovering it together or whatever, but it's different. So that's a pretty like enterprising method of getting someone that is actually from there to guide you around. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the craziest part is that we're still friends to this day. We have like
Yeah.
phone calls once a month to catch up with each other.
Oh, that frequent? Wow.
Yeah,
That's
like
cool.
about once a month. Like
That's awesome.
we have these inside jokes that like I'll touch upon. Like, yeah, it's just like a really high quality friendship, and I'm happy to, she doesn't live in Malaysia anymore. She's born and raised Malaysian. She's Malaysian Chinese, but
Right.
she lives in Bali right now with her partner. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, so really happy for her. And yeah, she's been there for I think almost a couple of years now, so it's been a while. And but like, again, KL is her home, and
Right.
those were her original stomping grounds. And I was so fortunate to not only find a friend, but find someone I was able to develop enough of a friendship, like deep enough friendship with. This is the first time I'm meeting this person. I fly
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah.
8, 9 in the morning. I take a red eye from Tokyo to Malaysia. I take a Grab, which is the Uber equivalent in Malaysia, to my Airbnb. I unpack my things. I lay down for an hour. I shower. I lay down for an hour. I'm just like, okay. And then I get this message on WhatsApp saying, hey, I'm outside. I guess we're going to meet. And she just pulls up in her car and we just go to a cafe. And,
That's cool.
it was just chill. Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah. I feel like if you're already doing a trip like that, you have a certain sense of adventure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, what's that more? It's not too much of a stretch to just meet a stranger and whatever. And you did it in a public place. Like, I'm not saying that people should do this and like go to their house right away. You know what I mean? But like the way you did it was safer, right? You met in public. You
Yeah.
got to know each other at a cafe, and you're like, okay, we're both not serial killers, so this is cool.
I mean, there was the whole knowing each other from February to September
Right.
aspect
You
too.
talk like texting kind of.
Yeah, over
Yeah.
WhatsApp. Even had like video calls too, just like
Oh,
kind of.
okay. That's
Yeah, we had a couple video chats, so yeah, it just like became like a fully fleshed friendship. And I actually can go into other deeper reasons as to why it was a more comfortable experience for me
Yeah.
and her. But yeah, I guess that fully sums up like why we came to Malaysia. Both me and Ed had really fortunate situations that
Yeah.
allowed us to live a more native life and a native experience as opposed to just being an expat just wandering around.
Yeah. I like, that's, to me, that's always better. Like, my ideal travel situation is visiting a friend, staying at their house.
Yep.
Like, or even if you don't stay at their house, at least like your hotel or hostel or whatever is around where they are, and they can, oh, after work, I'll come, chill with you or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Going somewhere, because I've done both. And it can be cool to just go somewhere random and be like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm here, let's figure it out. But it's just a different experience. It's not bad, and depending on where you are, some cities are more made for that. But any like location you go to, you're gonna have a better experience with someone who knows like what's up, right? Like, let's say you go, like, Hiten and I are both from we'll say New York metropolitan area. So like, let's say people are coming to New York City from another country, and they heard, oh, pizza is so good here or something, and then they try to go find a good pizza place. Maybe they'll find a good place, maybe not. Maybe they'll look up some place that's on Instagram and it's super popular, but like they're not going to be able to find a place that's kind of more of like a hole in the wall or lesser known that's really good.
Yeah.
That's not as popular, so it's like, and nowadays it's easier. Like back in 2011, it wasn't quite the same. Like TripAdvisor was there, but like the whole Instagram travel thing wasn't the way it is now. Like it's like, it was harder to find stuff. So I'm glad I went like how I did. Hiten, how long were you there in total?
So I spend about a week each time. I always split it between a week in Malaysia, a week in Singapore. I went 50-50.
Yeah. I've never been. I really want to go to Singapore, but I don't know if like our viewers are aware. Singapore and Malaysia used to be part of the same region under British colonialism. And then basically after that era ended, Singapore ended up gaining independence. I actually heard that they wanted to join Malaysia and Malaysia was like, no. And so they're like, okay, I guess our island's our own country now. And initially they were like less well off than Malaysia. And then, some economic miracle happened and they are like a powerhouse now, which is pretty crazy. Malaysia must be like, oh no, what did we do?
Oh, there's apparently
Oh wow,
a hotel in Singapore called the Winston Hotel. I think we should go next time in your honor. But like,
is it a 5-star hotel, Winston? Do you own it?
I think we can definitely leave Singapore as like a after conversation after going through everything else. But like, yeah, definitely get to touch upon, since I do have a lot of memories about that country too. Yeah. So this is a topic that Ed was really excited to talk about, and we Ed, definitely tell us about your favorite food.
Yeah. And, so food in Malaysia is like
not only your favorite food, but like your eating experiences, night and day, and all that fun stuff.
Okay, so picking a favorite food in Malaysia is hard because there's so much good food, and it's not like Malaysian food is kind of a mix, right? Like you have like Malay food, you have Indonesian food, you have Chinese from many different regions, you have Indian food from many different regions, and you have this like big mix of all of it. And like flavors are mixing, and it's so good. And the quality of even the cheapest food is really high. Like Hiten mentioned Mamak before, but it's basically, let's introduce that, because that's a whole like food subculture of Malaysia that doesn't really exist anywhere else. I mean, there's similar stuff, but the closest way to explain it is like it's a night market. With
like a food stall. Like a mamak is like your ma and pa food stall.
Yeah. And they basically, the ones I went to, I stayed in Petaling Jaya, and we went to KL, Kuala Lumpur a lot, but technically most of my time was spent in Petaling Jaya, which is, I guess, kind of like a suburb of Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of like a city too. But
I also spent time there in PJ. Yeah.
So the one that I went to like several times, I guess it was like my friend's favorite place. It was like a big empty parking lot basically. And then it was open at night, like in the evening. And then like by the time it was dark, it was like bustling like crazy.
Yeah.
And all of these small food carts, like independent food carts would come through and serving all these different foods. And there's all these little plastic tables and little plastic stools. And you just sit down, you'd find a table first, right? And then you'd sit down, and these waiters essentially from all the food stalls would come over to you. At least this is the one I went to a lot. They'd come over to you and they'd be like, hey, you want lima ice? You want Indomie? Like, blah, 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 blah. Like, and you'd be like, okay, well, how much, whatever. Like, okay, I'll have, Indomie dry Indomie from you. Not that spicy. I want a lima ice from you. Like I want whatever, like ice kacang from you. So you tell the waiters of these different stalls, they kind of like compete for your business in a sense.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty interesting. Because it's like you're in a restaurant with a bunch of restaurants, like an outdoor restaurant of many restaurants that like come over to you. And I thought that concept was really cool. And you could also go over to the food stall, of course,
Yeah.
yourself, but it was just so cool. I never experienced that before, and I didn't know what to expect with this different food. And I don't know if it was the first night, but my friend was like, "Oh, you've got to try Indomie. You're gonna love it." I'm like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "So there's wet and dry," and he's explaining to me like wet is like a soup, and dry
Yeah.
is like, I guess, kind of like stir fried noodles,
Yep.
more like lo mein.
I also had
Like,
dry.
yeah, I like both, but dry is, oh my god, I love it. It's so
Dry with
good.
the lima ice is the way to go. That's
Yeah,
a classic combo.
with the cracked egg on top. And yeah, it's so good. That is one of my favorite meals of my life. Honestly, like that. It was like $1. It was so cheap. And like, sitting on a plastic stool outside in the humid heat, you know, in this like bustling place with this, these noodles. And that was still to this day one of the best meals of my life. The first time I had Indomie, I was like blown away by it. And that just goes to show you like the quality of food they have there. But Hiten, what's like one that's like one I could talk more. I will talk more. I have another story about some food, but I want Hiten to like chime in here.
Yeah, definitely. So I actually went to Malaysia on one particular food mission.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean that was like the one thing I like, all right, I need to experience this one thing because I'm Indian or like of
Oh,
Indian
okay.
origin. But I want to echo on Ed's point again. Like, I actually had a great time with my Indomie, like my lima ice, and I feel like we may have gone to the same area in PJ because
Yeah.
my first time in Malaysia in 2017, my friend, she grew up in that area too, or at least has similar, memories in that area. Whatever, she hung out around PJ a lot, and of course, there's so many places to eat, but like maybe they're all just so similar. I don't know,
Yeah.
but that, yeah,
I can't
but
remember like
yeah,
specifics of
I,
where it
I,
was now.
I can't imagine that 9 years after. It's definitely been a long time
Yeah.
for over 9 years now. But yeah, I really want to have my first banana leaf rice experience, and I don't know if you had banana leaf rice.
Did you go to Raju's?
I don't know. I
Was
don't
it
think it's called
outdoor?
Raju.
Were there
No, I
cats
mean,
everywhere?
no.
Okay.
That's not what happened. So that's so cool though. No, so I went to another pretty highly revered place.
Mm.
My friend like brought me there. We drove over there. Well, actually, I think I took a grab there and I met her there because she had work or something.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the exact name, but it was in the neighborhood of Bangsar, which is like, I don't know if you're aware of Bangsar, but it's like right outside of KL, up and coming. Apparently, a lot of expats live there too. So banana leaf rice is essentially your classic, rice mix of curried veggies, all served to you on a literal banana leaf. That's why it's called banana leaf rice. And you're supposed
Big
to eat
leaf.
it big leaf. And you're supposed to eat it like, with your fingers. That's like the most traditional way. Like that's how I was raised to eat rice, but I always went with a spoon because I'm like, Mom, my hands are messy, blah blah blah. But yeah, just like kind of mix it up. This is like your banana leaf, and you just like do, and like,
And it's
yeah.
like a
So
South Indian thing specifically.
yeah, exactly. So my parents are from Gujarat, which is more north and more to the west. So the concept of like eating on a banana leaf or that being a thing just was never introduced to me growing up or
Mhm.
any part of Indian culture that I experienced. So again, a big part of why I went to Malaysia was to kind of like gain this firsthand knowledge on these other idiosyncrasies that, people of India do have, because I was just fully unaware until I was looking it up. I even like sent a picture to my mom and she was like, "Oh, the South Indians use banana leaf in their weddings." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." Thanks. Some nice insight. But yeah, it was really cool. So I had a good time with that. I had My first time was in Bangsar, and there's like a funny little side story. So when I told my parents I was going to Malaysia, they were like, "Oh, we have like I think my mom's like, oh, my cousin, my cousins, aunts, friends, sisters, daughter, son, wife, twice removed, blah blah blah. Some distant relative that's probably not blood related to me lives in Malaysia, and I actually managed to get his contact information. And we were exchanging back and forth on WhatsApp, and he lived in Bangsar. So
Oh wow.
when I went to it was like a last minute decision for us to go to this specific banana leaf place in Bangsar. So I messaged him like when I was in the Grab. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be in your neighborhood, blah blah, for the night. Do you wanna meet? I think we're related. We had some exchange before, like a couple messages. Yeah. But he was actually out of town for that day, and he was coming back within the coming nights. I think the next night or whatever. So we weren't able to meet. And then my friend was a little eerie about meeting my estranged relative with me, which I totally understand. Like, she took a leap of faith to literally hang out with me day after day. Like, there's only so much excitement or so much mystery that you can swallow. So yeah, I never got to meet my estranged relative, but I was in his neighborhood. So maybe one day. I don't remember his name, but I think
that's always like what happens though. I had a similar experience in Israel.
Oh really? Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that's hilarious. So banana leaf definitely up there. And did you end up trying banana leaf at?
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, good.
I don't remember anywhere I went except this place was called Raju's. I don't know why I remember it, but I mean it was an outdoor location on these big long, I think they're wooden tables, and we're sitting on stools. But this was like a local kind of classic place,
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't even remember what I got, but there was a lot of options, like vegetarian options, of course. So that was great. So I was happy, and the food was so good. Like I honestly, like I don't know what I ate, and like you, I'm more familiar with North Indian cuisine too.
Yep.
But it was so good, and yeah, there were these like street cats, like dirty cats, like all over the place trying to get at the food. So that's what I was like, they're like, oh yeah, just like, kick them away or whatever. But they like come and they'd like, rub up against my legs. I'm like, oh, this cat is so dirty. This is not. I'm like, good food, dirty cat. Okay. But it was part of the experience.
Exactly.
And yeah, it was so good though. Like that was another like such a good meal. But another thing that I loved was kaya toast. Did you have kaya toast?
So I've actually never ended up having kaya toast.
Okay.
And it's actually one of my biggest like I don't know why I wasn't.
You can find it here.
I mean, I know I can find it here. There's a difference between finding it here and having it in the motherland, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I actually haven't had it since I've been in Malaysia, but I remember the flavor so distinctly.
Then we should have some when COVID is better and we can actually hang out.
I actually, wait, no, I did. I forgot if it was in Boston. There's a Malaysian restaurant in Boston that I went to with this same friend, because he used to live in Boston. And I did have kaya toast. Again, I was like, I gotta have some kaya toast. Ooh. And they had it there. And they had like white coffee, lima ice. I almost said limca. That's another thing. But yeah, but anyway, so there's this breakfast place. It was like this little hole in the wall. Everything was like stainless steel. I remember that. And my friend was like, okay, you got to have this, like, trust me, this is like the best classic Malaysian breakfast. I'm like, all right, like, is it vegetarian? He's like, yes. I was like, okay, cool. So it was soft boiled eggs, with soy sauce and white pepper and kaya toast. And kaya is mashed root of coconut palm tree, I believe. So it's kind of like a green or purple Like it's kind of like a weird color. I think sometimes like kind of yellowish.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe am I crazy? I want to know what kaya looks like.
Look it up. Look it up.
Hang on. I'm going to look up what color is this?
I've just heard it so many times. I just haven't partaken in it formally. But again, I
Okay.
live in Boston. I'm sure I can find it.
I see. So it's kind of yellow orangish, but then there's pandan kaya that you can
Pandan.
have. So, okay. Anyway, so that's why I was like, wait, why do I remember it being different colors? All right. So in kaya, it's this like ground up mush. It's like a mushy kind of substance, right? And it's this white bread toast, and they smear it in the middle, and they make a little sandwich out of it. So you dip that in the soy sauce, white pepper, soft boiled eggs, and you eat it. And we had that with some coffee, like Malaysian style hot coffee, and that was like, it was one of the best breakfasts ever. It was so good. But yeah, kaya toast is amazing. Did you have roti boy?
Yeah, I actually that's so funny. That's so funny. I didn't have it until 2018. That was my second trip. I'm never gonna. So we were in the KL Pavilion, which is like a big mall, gigantic mall
That's
in the
the
middle
one
of
at
the.
Petronas Towers, right?
Yeah, the one at Petro. It's a gigantic mall in the, I guess, the middle of the main capital, Kuala Lumpur. And I was meeting up with my other friend who lived in New Jersey because he happened to be in Malaysia at the same time. Because his girlfriend's Malaysian Chinese. We kind of planned it that way, but it was like halfway planned. It was like, oh, I'm gonna be there in August. Oh, I'm gonna be there in August. Like, are you gonna be there earlier in August or later in August? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, I don't know either. And we didn't. And then by the time we both booked our flights individually, we had some overlap. So he was like, yo, meet me at Roti Boy. Meet me at Roti Boy. It was just a really funny. It was a really funny experience. Yeah, Roti Boy. I also was really excited to try out like other kinds of like Indian foods that I'm accustomed to in the States and my mother's home, like in my household rather, with my mom, and back in India. I can kind of compare it all. And I had a pretty good time with, traditional Indian food in Malaysia, picking up my favorite dishes and just having just a little bit of naan and a little bit of dal on the side. Like, just it was awesome. And what we haven't really touched too much on is eating food at night. And this is where Southeast Asia thrives. This is where we don't get this kind of experience in the States. We really don't. It's always just like we're at like, our local experience would be like going to a diner at midnight or 2 a.m, like your Denny's or your
Denny's is not a diner. Denny's is not a real diner.
It's not a real diner, but it's that late night food. It's not that restaurant that's open 24/7. The McDonald's. McDonald's is not a diner, but Denny's is closer to a diner than McDonald's.
Oh yeah, it's
yeah.
I feel like a diner can't be a nationwide chain. That's just me.
Okay, no, yeah, I'm with you.
Like IHOP and Denny's are diner style chains, I would say.
But that's like that's the closest thing. Like you don't really find this outdoor late night food culture. You're just gonna be, yelled at by the cops to go home or whatever. That's how suburbia works in America. And
or even in like cities, it's not really like that. Like
exactly.
Like you get like in New York, you get like the Nuts for Nuts guy or pretzels or something. It's not the same.
Yeah, so it's just like 11 p.m. Again, all these places just open up. Like Ed mentioned, you have all these people coming up to you like, oh, what do you want to eat? And then some of these people have like these menus that are like 6-7 pages, like a menu this big, 6-7 pages long, front and back of a whole host and variety of foods from, whether it be Malay, whether it be Indian, whether it be Chinese, whether it be a mixture of any of them.
Yeah.
It was so sick. And my favorite memories, like the ones I recall the most, the ones I like almost tear up thinking about, like having such a good time, like with all the laughter and stories that I shared with my friend, was late at night, just shooting the shit, eating great food, and just it was such a great time. And like that's what I thrive for whenever I go back. Whenever I have these memories, that's what I aspire to recreate, and I want to not only do that with my friend, but I want to do it with like my local friends. Have them experience the same happiness that I did.
I'll definitely go back to Malaysia with you, Hiten.
No, dude, I can't wait, dude. Oh my god, dude. Now that I have like more friends there too, even like
Yeah.
you have your network, I have my network. Like there are always people there who are willing to take care of us, and that's the most exciting part
Yeah, that's
because
true.
you become more like family than friends at the end of the day. Because that's just how, at least that's the way I try to adopt anyone who comes to like the States or even in my city, where my couch is pretty much open for almost anyone if you need a place. And yeah, I always really, it's just so exciting to think about. Like my friend from Malaysia actually messaged me my other friend, I met him in the States initially, like last year. He's like, yo, I will be your Uber, I will be your Airbnb, like if you ever come, just let me know.
I will
Just-
be your Uber, baby.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah, no, of course. And like and that's what I really miss. Like COVID took away our summer, and that's what I really miss. Like shooting the shit with great friends late at night, eating whatever, and just
Yep.
laughing it all off and just being so tired in the morning. Like we replaced that with Discord calls that go until 7 in the morning, which is still pretty
yeah,
good.
that's
It's a good
true.
time. It's a good time, but it's a wholeheartedly a different
different
experience. It's a different experience, and I feel like we need to actually meet in a different country together, and two,
Yeah,
since
we never have
yeah.
yet, right?
Well, we haven't. Yeah, we
Almost.
haven't. Almost. We were almost there, but China didn't happen. Shanghai, but
I told you I was gonna be free, and then I went to Korea when you came there, right? Is that what
no,
happened?
no. So you were going there. You were planning to go to Korea when I was going to Shanghai.
Oh
But
yeah, so I told you not to come,
You told me not to come like 2 or 3 weeks before, or
and
a
then
week
I
before I
went to
left.
Korea at a different time.
Yeah, because you had to confirm your residency, blah blah blah. But
Oh yeah,
anyway, no,
that's
that's
true.
yeah. I remember the story pretty well because I had to wait pretty long to cancel my flight tickets. But anyway, that's a whole different story. That's fine.
Whole other animal.
That's fine.
Part two.
But yeah, we were close. We're close. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually ended up doing a lot of stuff I did not expect to do when I had a lot of firsts in Malaysia. I don't know if you did too. Like the first time that I ever went to a CrossFit gym in Malaysia, and I was like, "What is this place?"
CrossFit.
And he's like, my friend was like, "Oh, normally you have to pay, but you're my guest today. Like, you can have like a trial day, whatever." And the guy there was nice, or maybe we paid $20 or I don't remember.
Yeah.
But like, we went there and they're like, "Okay." And he's like, "Do you know what CrossFit is?" And I'm like, "No," because this was 2011. So it's
Yeah.
not as common as it is now. But my friend was clearly, trendsetter. So he's like, "Okay, so there's all these challenges. And then you have to like switch sections, like, from kettlebell. And then you have to go to like the ropes. And then you have to do like handstand push. I don't know. It was like crazy. And I'm like, what?" And then like, they're like, "Okay, switch." And I'm like, "Oh God, what am I doing?" And so it was interesting. It was fun. And I was like, okay. And that's the thing, like when you go to someone's house and they're like, "You're here for 10 days." My other friend was there for like a full, like over 2 weeks, I think. It was like,
Oh wow.
it was like 15, 16 days or something. So he was just like, "You're just going to chill with me." And I was like, that's all I want to do. I just want to chill. We played video games on his couch. Oh, first time I ever played Mafia was in Malaysia with my friend's entire giant group of friends. And I was like, this game is cool. And it's like, I didn't know like I was going to have all these different experiences. First time that I played futsal. Do you know what futsal is?
Oh, it sounds so familiar. And what is it? What is it?
It's football, like soccer, but
Yeah.
it's played in like basically the confines of a basketball court.
Oh, okay.
And it's like it's super small. There's no out of bounds. So like the ball, because there's a fence, the ball doesn't go like out. So that's different. And then the goals are smaller. So it's like, like soccer, watching like sometimes when I watch soccer, it's so boring because nothing happens. Like, you have a whole hours long game and there's like one goal or something, or no goals, and you're like, because they can end in a tie or whatever. But futsal is a lot more like, because the goals are closer, and
Yeah.
like everyone's like on top of each other. It's a lot more interesting. But first time playing that, I felt like I almost died from like heat exhaustion, because even at night it was so hot and I was running so much. And then first time playing paintball, surprisingly, also in the freaking jungle with giant mosquitoes like attacking me constantly. Like it felt like I was in war. I was like, this is horrible. It was fun, but it was muddy because was just raining. There's mosquitoes eating me alive, and people were shooting at me. So it was quite the experience. Did you
That's
have
so
any
funny.
like firsts like that?
So this is where we juxtapose. So um I like how you start off, because that, I mean, I didn't do a whole array of activities like
Yeah.
you did. Again, my time in Malaysia was chill.
Yeah.
And that's what you were kind of just saying. It's just chill. You like, there was one day where me and my friend, we went to 5 different cafes in one day. That's all we did. And then we ate at night.
Wow.
We got coffee here, we ate breakfast here, we had food here, and we just like sat, we read, we took photos of, I had my film camera at the time.
Mhm.
Like, we talked, and we just went to a whole Friday, walked around. It was just a more relaxing experience to,
Yeah.
kind of explore and just like, you know, just have a good coffee pretty much everywhere we went. And when it came to like activities, wait, what's up?
No, 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 go ahead.
When it came to activities, I'm really trying to think, did I do anything like really like, uh, so I guess I'll tell you like a bit of my solo adventures, because I was alone for part of it,
Right.
kind of just like going around here and there. So I went to Batu Caves. I'm sure you went to Batu Caves, right?
I went there too, yeah.
Yeah. So Batu Caves is pretty much just like this iconic. I don't. It's a tourist spot, sure,
Yeah,
but
but it's cool.
yeah, it's super cool. There's like this giant um golden statue of like this I don't know what god it is. I'm looking it up because I feel
It's
like I
a
should know.
Hindu god.
It's a Hindu god. But
I thought that
uh
was pretty
oh,
interesting,
Lord
actually,
Murugan. Lord Murugan, I guess. Yeah, so it's just
because
like
it's
that.
technically a Muslim country, but there's still these giant like shrines to Hindu gods and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, which is super cool. It was like a cool like thing to see in real life. And when I went, you can just like help. They needed like I don't know what they were doing, but they were like building more stuff up. There's like a large staircase that leads up to like the caves
Yeah.
and stuff like that, which is really cool. And you can see like more temple relics. So anyone who was willing, you can take a bucket of soot or cement or sand or whatever they needed, and you can help carry it up. And it was just like me, just a bunch of other tourists, just like, yeah, sure, we'll carry this bucket up to help out the local people building. It was really cool.
That
So that was,
that didn't have that when I was there, I don't think.
yeah,
But
maybe there's like, again, it was like 6 years, 7 years after.
yeah,
So yeah, it
the
was an interesting
monkeys there.
experience. Oh yeah, yeah. So I had a fun time with the monkeys. So I have some videos. I wish I can pull them up. I don't have them immediately. So I was taking selfie videos with the monkeys. There's one monkey that like I was vibing with, gave me a high five. We're hanging out, and then there's another monkey completely juxtaposing me, juxtaposing the other monkey, just like gave me like nastiest scowl. Like, "Eh, eh." And then I sent those. I think when I sent them, I sent both of them to my mother, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Second monkey, not nice." And I'm like, yeah, yeah, I guess so. There's that. And then I guess touching upon, more of the Western activities, I went to IKEA.
Oh, really?
I went to
Interesting.
IKEA in Malaysia because my friend's like, "Do you want to just go? Like, why not?" Right? I'm like, "Sure." Like, how does it differ,
Right.
compared to the Western IKEA? They're all the same, man.
Yeah, they IKEA is pretty much like I went to IKEA in China
Yeah,
several times.
yeah.
It's like the same thing.
It's literally even like the stock photos of some of the people.
Yeah.
I saw them like in the States too. It was like kind of a wild experience. Just like, and even the food was a bit different. They still had like the veggie balls, but like it wasn't as great. I don't know. It was a bit different, but
Interesting.
it was similar enough. And yeah, we went to IKEA, or she called it IKEA, and I was confused for a bit. I think that's might be the proper pronunciation. I'm not sure. I'm like, oh, IKEA, IKEA.
It's
Yeah,
Swedish, right? So I don't
it's
know.
Swedish.
I don't
It's
know how to
Swedish. Yeah,
pronounce
it's
Swedish.
Swedish. It's Swedish. But it was funny. So I went to IKEA in Malaysia. What else did I do?
Man, I'm just getting so hungry for the food I had in Malaysia during this whole
Yeah.
conversation.
And it's like that time. It's 10 p.m. You want your late
I
night
know,
snack.
right?
Yeah. So I think I'll delve a bit into like my second trip. So that was mainly my first trip in 2017.
Hmm.
And then 2018, me and my friend met up again, and we just hung out. So I had this giant, it was a inside joke turned into a meme between us where I'm like, the next time I see you, we're going to the bird park. Because whenever I didn't live close to the Kuala Lumpur bird park, but my first Airbnb was like a mile away from it or something, and it always showed up on my Google Maps for like a tourist attraction. And I'm like, hey, have you been here before? She's like, no, why would I go to the bird park? I'm like, we gotta go one day. Like, I gotta go one day. Like, this bird
Can you
park.
not go to the bird park?
How can you not? Exactly. It became like a giant joke. We're like,
Yeah.
wait, you haven't gone to the bird park? Wait, we must meet at the bird park. So I remember when we were talking, I think like every week I'd be like, yo, see you at the bird park. And then I booked a flight to Malaysia. No, I mean, I mainly, so I booked that flight in 2018.
You're like, I need to go to this bird park.
Yeah, because I kept
It's
typing
killing
it up.
me.
It's killing me. Yeah, it's so dumb. But so dumb. But like it was so fucking funny. But so I booked a flight to Singapore for August for 2 weeks, and then flying to Malaysia is super super cheap from Singapore, like 50 USD round trip, an hour flight. You really can't go wrong. You really can't go wrong. So yeah, I went back to Singapore, met up with some of my friends there, then went to Malaysia for the second part.
Did you take Malaysian Air?
I don't remember. I think I just took AirAsia.
Were there very colorful seats that were like a
Yes.
rainbow of colors? Okay.
No, not a rainbow, not a rainbow.
It was like every other seat was a different color. It wasn't like that.
Whoa, no, that's wild.
That was Air Malaysia or Malaysian Air. I forgot.
Whoa.
The Malaysian one, the Malaysian airline.
Well, didn't
all
the
these
no
crazy different seats.
so I think Malaysian Air turned into AirAsia if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I think, but
Malaysian
again,
Airlines, right? That was the one
Yeah.
with the big crash. Maybe.
yeah,
was it
that's the
after
whole
that?
drama. Yeah, it was after that. I think they had to rebrand. But yeah, so we went to the bird park and it was a very underwhelming experience.
Were there birds?
Yeah, there are whole kinds of birds, all different kinds of birds, but like it
like
was
an
okay.
aviary? Or was it more
Actually,
like a park with a lot of endemic birds randomly there?
Yeah, it was more like the second thing you said, where like there are a bunch of different kind of birds.
So it wasn't like a bird zoo.
It was a bird zoo. Yeah, it was more so a
okay.
bird zoo than a bird park.
I see.
Yeah. So actually, let me pull up one of my favorite photos from that bird park. So me and this I don't know what this bird is called, but we vibed really hard.
It looks like a shoebill. Did I just make that up? Yeah. That's cool. That's a good picture. Is that a waterfall behind you?
Yeah, I guess so. But
oh no, not a shoebill. Shoebill, oh my god. Shoebill storks, I just looked it up. They have gigantic, they're scary. Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, that beak was pretty intense, and like my friend was like, "Don't get too close to it; you're gonna get hurt." And I'm like, "No. I think we're friends." Like, I flew from Chicago to be here. I flew to the bird park. I'm here for the birds.
Yeah.
So we went to the bird park.
Thanks.
There's that, and then me and my friend, we actually did a 2.5 hour road trip to Malacca.
Oh really?
Yeah. So just the two of us, and we went to this thing called the Hoscatory. I don't remember how I found out about it.
The Huscatory?
Yeah, so it was just this place where you hang out with huskies, like
dogs.
alma maters, yeah, husky dogs, and they each have their stories and stuff. I don't know why they had such a thing in Malaysia, but it was definitely a thing.
Maybe
So
because it's rare to see a husky in Malaysia because of cold
yeah,
weather dogs. I don't know.
exactly. They're definitely cold weather dogs, and like yeah, we played around with huskies, and it was kind of cool. But like there was another part of like Malacca has like a rich, deep history, really artsy like walls and stuff like that. So in a 2.5 hour drive isn't that bad at all. So
It's cool.
yeah, so we were able to make that little road trip and make it like a day trip. It was super cool. Super cool.
Yeah. So wait,
And
the second time you went there, how long were you there?
about a week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was about a week each time.
Did you? I went to the movie theater in Malaysia too, which was notable because it was my first time going to a movie theater outside of the U.S.
Yeah.
But it was weird. We went there and there's like nobody else in the theater. And it was
Really?
like, yeah. It was
Was it-
like 9 p.m. or something. It was
I was gonna say, like, was
odd.
it the middle of the day or?
No, but it was yeah. I'm trying to remember what movie we saw. Like I can't remember what movie it was because we were just
Well-
talking the whole time because there's no one in the theater.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So at the movie theater though, and like everywhere else, I saw the exit sign, which said Keluar,
Yep. Keluar. Yep.
and that's like I've never forgotten that word because that was like the word I saw everywhere.
At the airport too. At the airport too. Everywhere. Every time you leave the
Green
bathroom, every
sign.
time you the green sign, the guy walking Keluar. And that's actually a great transition into what we talk about next. I actually want you to list all the Malay you can
Oh my
off the
God.
top of your head. Every random small word. I don't have a lot. Malay.
Like Keluar. That's
Keluar. Yeah. You're starting. So keep going.
Mamak. Does that count?
Mamak. Yeah, Mamak counts.
I don't know. Just like Walawe. Like you mean like Malinglish?
Yeah, that too.
Well, like, do you hear everyone go Walawe?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know if some things are like a Chinese Malaysian thing or just a Malaysian thing or
Well,
you know what I mean?
I guess so, but like my main exposure is Malaysian Chinese too.
Right.
So
Walawe is just like it's like a oh my gosh kind of expression or whatever. And obviously using la at the end of things.
yeah,
Okay,
the
la.
la. Okay, the la's and the ahs.
Yeah. But I won't do an accent because it would be horrible and
Yeah.
probably offensive.
I can't really do it either. Well, not, I mean, due to that as well, but I feel like I'm just not good at it.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of la's, a lot of ahs,
Yeah.
which from my understanding does come from like a Chinese origin.
Yep.
And then Walawe, I don't know the origin of that, but I heard that a lot. And all right, how about you? Do you have any phrases that you remember?
Yeah, I have some fun little Easter eggs I want to bring up with this. So, as Ed mentioned, Mamak comes from the word makan, which means to eat. So there's makan, there's terima kasih, thank you. That's thank you, right? Does that sound familiar? Terima kasih.
I don't know Bahasa at all.
Bahasa, yeah, Bahasa. Yeah, that's true.
Bahasa is
Yeah, that's
what they call
Indonesian.
Malay language.
Yeah.
So there's Bahasa Malaysia and Bahasa
Yeah.
Indonesia. Or
Yeah.
I'm probably butchering pronunciation, but
Yeah, it's okay. We're trying.
the two languages are very, very close and basically mutually intelligible.
Yeah, exactly.
Like closer than Italian and Portuguese or Spanish and Italian or whatever. Like very close. But
yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is when I heard Bahasa, I was like, oh, that's like Bhasha, which is Hindi for language.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, there's a common. And the interesting thing is Southeast Asia in the West used to be called Indochina.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a fitting name because that region is really, I mean, obviously they have their own culture that's native to that region, but with that is also mixed in a lot of Chinese and Indian influence from thousands of years.
Yeah.
So you have languages like Indonesian and Malaysian, we'll say, that do have a lot in common with old like Indian languages, and there's a lot of
Yeah.
cultural roots that come from there. So it's really interesting actually if you look up the history and you look up even like etymology of a lot of words. There's you think of like Southeast Asia, you don't think of India, but like
Yeah.
actually is a lot of influence, not only like the Tamil people that live there, which we didn't mention this, but most of the Indian people who live in Malaysia are Tamil. They're
Yep.
from the Indian state of Tamil Nadu in that region. Specifically, it's like the overwhelming majority, I guess, right? You'd say,
Yep. Which
yeah,
is South India.
right? Like the southern tip, basically. And what was I saying? Oh yeah. But even like in Thailand, there's a lot of Thai Hindus
Yep.
that I don't think people realize. There's still a lot of like influence from India and of course China too in that region. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like blanking on more words. I feel
Yeah, I'm
like I
actually.
heard a bunch more.
Yeah, I mean, it's been especially longer for you, but there's one phrase that kind of got really popular, like in articles on the internet that kind of really showed how multilingual, or
Hmm.
at least within random words, that Native Malaysian people are. Because I mean, a lot of people, again, the friends we knew, at least they speak English there. English
Yeah,
is taught to them. They have their mother language, and then they learn Malay in school because it's like like the language of the country.
national. Yeah.
So most people speak at least 2 to 3 languages
Hmm.
with full comprehension, with full everything, which is incredible. Because, you know, I mean, I grew up in a bilingual household too, but like throwing on a different language is insane. Like uh, being born and raised in the suburbs of Connecticut, like I was like one of the few Indian people in my town. So
Hmm.
the concept of anyone knowing like a second language, especially like in elementary school or middle school, was like kind of mind-boggling to people, and it's just
Yeah,
like a norm.
that is really cool. Like how multilingual it is,
Yeah.
and I think there's also a misconception that um, because English is very widely spoken and it has its own dialect in Malaysia
Yep.
and Singapore, which are very similar,
Yep.
that dialect. But I think a lot of people would be surprised that many people of all different backgrounds in Malaysia, their native language is English,
Yep.
their mother tongue, and then maybe they'll learn, like if they're Chinese Malaysian, which is a huge percentage of, they might learn Hokkien or
Or
Cantonese or
Cantonese.
Mandarin
Yep.
or any combo of any of that Hakka.
Yep.
And then if they're like Indian Malaysian, maybe they also learn Tamil or maybe even also Hindi or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you have the like Malay people, uh, who might know Malay, might know also English, or maybe they also learn like a third language. And there's so much of that going around. And it's like interesting because there's actually a lot of countries in Africa that people speak like 10 languages.
Yep. Yep.
And it's crazy. And it's like so mind boggling. But the thing is, it's just exposure when you're young, right? So it's like
Exactly.
I didn't have the benefit of growing up in a bilingual household. Like my mother tongue is English and my parents just spoke English to me. So, later in life when I was a teenager, I had to learn like, Chinese and Hindi and stuff. But, when you're growing up with all of that, it really is interesting because I do feel like it changes your perception, right? Like every language you learn, when you're using that language, you're like viewing the world, at least this is how I feel. You're viewing the world in a slightly different context because words mean slightly different things.
Yep.
There's no like one-to-one translation for most languages. I mean, maybe if you have a certain language family, like the Romance languages or Chinese languages or whatever, they might be similar, but it's still like even regional, it's different. So it's like I just always think about how interesting it is to grow up in such a multilingual society, whereas in the US, we mostly are English. I mean, a lot of regions are kind of very heavily Spanish as well.
Yep.
But for the most part, it's just English, and that's most people's experience.
True. Yeah. So to really add on that, so there's one phrase that I actually want to test you with it.
Okay.
I feel like you've heard it before because it's spread. It's been pretty widespread, but it's just like it contains 4 languages in one sentence. So it contains English, Malay, Chinese, and Tamil. And the Chinese is like pronounced similarly in Mandarin, Cantonese, and Hokkien.
Okay.
So and I want you to try to, you don't have to translate the words, but translate the meaning. And you know the Malay word, so I think you'll be able to get it.
Okay.
And you speak Mandarin, so I think you again, but I might mess it up.
We'll see. I don't know what you're referring to, so maybe not.
Really, this is awesome then. So the phrase is "Wei matcha, you wanna makan here tapao." Wei matcha, you wanna makan here tapao.
So it's like it's something like, "Hey man, do you wanna eat here or take it to go?"
Perfect.
Oh wow.
Let's go. That was perfect. No, for real. It's like, hey bro, you want to eat here or get takeout or take it to go? Perfect.
I never heard that before.
Really? Dude, that was like it was on a magazine cover.
Oh really?
Yeah. It was like just a big thing. Yeah, exactly. I knew you'd be able to get it. That's awesome.
Maybe I should live in Malaysia.
No, that's not the best.
That's the takeaway. I'm moving to Malaysia, guys. Bye.
Yeah.
See ya.
But I mean, like it's a cute phrase. Oh, Winsland, what do you want to have? I mean, like again, like Ed knew the Chinese and Ed knew the Malay, and knowing the makan helped a lot. And tapao, what's tapao? Is that Chinese?
Tapao is like takeout. Like
takeout. Yeah. So like it really clicked for you because you know the beginning, middle, and end, and the rest of it's English.
Yeah.
And like matcha, I mean, again, you speak Hindi too, so you have like an idea of. Well, I actually didn't know matcha.
When I hear makan, I think of like makani, like paneer makani, makan, butter.
Yeah. I love this phrase though. I love this phrase.
It's cool.
It's super cool.
Like that.
Yeah, I'm not here to talk about how, there's still racial instability everywhere in the world, and that's going to exist in Malaysia, it's
not utopia.
It's not utopia, but, there are some silver linings in all this.
See you, Winsland. Thanks for
take care.
Joining us.
Thanks for joining, man. Have a good night, dude.
Hope your keyboard building stream went well.
Yeah.
He was building a keyboard earlier.
Yeah, I saw. But I'm really happy you didn't hear about it. That was actually a really cool thing. And then
that's fun. So
another 3 Malaysian words. Words in Malay. This is actually great. You said, "Oh no," because this is really weird. When my friend picked me up from the airport my second time in 2018, we went to this little local artists alley show thing. I don't know. It was free, so we like dropped by in Cyberjaya. And I wanted to buy one thing from whatever artist. So I picked like the memeiest thing I could buy, and it's been on my fridge for a long time. I think you've seen it. So
oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring it up to the camera here.
Okay.
So
it
says Sotong Anda. So I want you to guess based off this picture here of this man kissing an octopus.
Well,
is an octopus? 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I think
1,
it's
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, octopus.
Oh my god! I don't know what. That's so random. Sayangi.
I was with my friend.
Sarange.
Whoa! You're actually close. Yeah. You're onto something.
Okay. It's like, I love you so much Like I have 8 arms to hug you. I don't know. That's my guess.
So Sayangi means love,
Okay.
which is really cool. Sotong means squid, and Anda is like your. So this pretty much
I love your
translates to
squid. What?
no. It means it's a
That's
it's
an
a PSA.
octopus.
No. It's a PSA that pretty much says love your squid.
Is that a euphemism?
No, I don't see it as a euphemism. I see it as a
What's a squid?
I see it. This guy, this person.
That's not a squid.
person.
That's an octopus. First of all,
it's an
this-
all-encompassing term, okay? All right, but besides the point.
It's got to be a euphemism. What is? How can
It's
that?
not a euphemism. How
What's
is
your
this a
squid,
euphemism?
Hiten?
What?
What's your squid?
Squid is a metaphorical. It's a
For-
metaphorical, not a euphemism. It's metaphorical.
What's it a metaphor for?
Your life, man. Gotta love your
Your
life and
squid
kiss it.
is your life.
Squid is life.
Wow.
Anyway, so I bought this, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm the only person in Boston that has
You might be. Yeah.
who has Malaysian words on their
Wait, how
fridge.
do you know this? Who explained this to you? Did
Oh,
your
I was with
friend
my
say
I was
this?
with my Malaysian Chinese friend.
What if she was like,
She was laughing
"Oh,
at
I'm
it
gonna
too.
mess with Hiten.
No. And then also, if
I'm
you
gonna
pull it
tell
off,
him this means
like-
love your squid, and that means
but
to love your life."
how is it not saying love your squid? You know,
First of all,
No, but-
it's octopus. Second of
No, but
all,
if you look at Google Translate, it
how
says love
does
your squid.
squid mean? Like, is that a Malay cultural thing where
No.
like squids are live?
I don't think it's cultural at all. I just think it's just edgy.
I'm confused. Love your squid, Hiten.
Love your squid. Great. Yeah, the drawing is pretty
Don't ink
cool,
too much.
right? Isn't the drawing pretty cool? Like I just have it on my fridge.
This is the weirdest thing.
Yeah, it's weird, but
You're like,
I,
you're like, I'm gonna. All right, so we're talking.
I want to buy something
I have
quirky.
3 Malaysian words I'm gonna bring up. I bought this art, this piece of art. You show me a picture of a man getting fondled by an octopus.
Whoa,
And you tell me it means love your squid,
All right.
which
That makes it
means
sound
love
like the
your
man
life.
isn't providing back. The man is hugging and kissing the octopus while the octopus is
I didn't say it
Pulling the
wasn't
man.
mutual fondling.
It's mutual.
but
love your squid.
The octopus, where is that hand going? We see where it goes. We don't see where it ends. Just saying.
Love your squid. So I know more Malay than you. That was my flex.
Not doubting that.
And
I just doubt. I am concerned that a squid is not what you think it is.
but there's a picture.
That's an octopus.
Yeah, I mean, are octopi
No, they're not squids. They're different animals.
squids?
What did the artist say?
They are
about the-
cousins.
Okay.
So they're technically not. But like I feel like our Malay is an entirely borrowed language. So just leave it be. Leave it be.
Wait, what did the artist say about the picture?
No, nothing. He just had a bunch of quirky. I don't remember too well. I just picked the quirkiest one.
I like it. I like how random it is.
Yeah.
And I like that it means love your squid.
Love your squid.
And your friend really said that means, it's a metaphor for you.
No.
life.
I came up with the metaphor.
Oh, okay.
No.
So
she was
just said, it says love your squid. I don't know, man.
yeah,
It's pretty
just
weird.
just like dry. I'm like, hey, what does this say? Oh, it says love your squid or love your octopus. And then I'm like, I'm buying it, and she's like, whatever floats your boat.
Wow. That,
And then we went to a cafe.
no, I
'Cause
love that story behind that. I have a magnet you gave me, actually, right here.
Oh, really? Wait, what magnet?
ZTV.
Oh, yeah, ZTV. That's so... yeah. Love your squid.
You know how much I love watching my Saregamapa Little Champs and Pavitra Rishta episodes.
You actually know? That's crazy.
Yeah. Come
It's
on.
crazy, man.
ZTV, baby.
Oh, but yeah. What other Malay do we know? You know, the las and the ahs and all that fun stuff.
That
Um,
was amazing.
yeah, I pulled it out of my fridge just for this talk. I think it's a pretty cool. It's a
I
pretty cool drawing.
I do have a story about. I'm glad that you brought this up because I have a story that is similar. Believe it or
Okay.
not.
Okay. Please,
So
please go on.
we went to this night market. I have footage of it somewhere. I'm planning to make a video about this topic actually on my YouTube channel. So keep an eye out for it. It'll be a few months because I have a lot of research to do. But anyway, so I went to this night market with my other friend from the US, and my Malaysian friend, and there were these CDs being sold, and we were like, me and my friend were like, let's get some local music, or let's get some cool music from Malaysia. And so we just kind of randomly picked stuff that we thought would be interesting, right? Like some kind of weird album art was our criteria. So we picked this stuff, and this one album, we bought two albums, but the one album was called, I'm gonna type it in chat because it's so weird.
Okay.
That was the title. That was the title of the CD. And
wait,
there's
first
a
of all,
three-eyed dog on it.
how do you remember that?
It's called Three Umphing About Jan Lamb. I mean, how can
Three.
you
That's true, I guess, but
No, also
wow.
because then we went back to my friend's house and we played the CD and we were just blown away. It's the weirdest thing I ever heard. I wish I could play it for you.
I
It's
want to hear it.
it my oldest vlog on my YouTube channel uses it as the intro. One of the songs. I did not get copyright claims, so thank you, Jan Lamb. Jan Lam is awesome dude, actually. He's like a comedian. He sings in Cantonese. Mostly. A little Mandarin and some English thrown in there. But it was this I guess he's technically from Hong Kong. And he had this album and it was like the weirdest music, but it was still good. It was really goofy. It's he's a comedian, so his music's kind of funny usually.
Yeah.
And it was just so bizarre. And we me and my friend were cracking up and we're like, oh, this is so crazy. Oh, it's so cool. And my Malaysian friend is like, why are you guys obsessed with this CD? We're like, it's so weird. And he's like, oh, is it? And I guess, I don't know. He didn't think it was that weird. But there is some definite bangers in there. And it became kind of our secret soundtrack. No one else heard about this artist or these songs. And he's somewhat well known in the Cantonese speaking sphere. He's pretty popular, but he's not beyond that. He's not in mainland China, Mandarin world. No, in general, he's not popular. But it was this thing where it was this legendary CD for us. And we played it all the time, and we'd introduce our friends back home to it, and they'd be like, whoa, this is crazy. And they're like, oh, it's kind of good though. It's so weird, but I love it. And that was such a meaningful experience, buying that CD and going back and playing it. And yeah, me and my friend are actually making he's going to help me with the video on it. Cause he's a music person, basically. He's a producer and a musician. So he's going to talk about the musical nature of it. I'm going to talk about the experience, and we're going to get into it. But yeah, that was that was my version of the
That's great. That's great. I like that a lot. I actually want to hear this song. Send it to me after. I definitely want to.
I'll send it.
Yeah,
I don't want
or that video of the vlog. Yeah, no, we're not trying to play that game.
I probably won't though, because I didn't for my YouTube video.
I don't. I think it deserves an offline conversation, just to all the quirky music.
By the way, should I add background music to this? I can. We've just been talking with no music in the background, but I could add some.
No, I
copyright
think
free.
I think voice to voice is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I see you have here most memorable smell in the
So
notes.
that was you. You brought that up.
Did I?
Yeah. You brought that up.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
you have a story behind this. I think
Yes. How can I? How has it been this long? It's been an hour and a half, and I have not mentioned my durian
Oh, okay.
virginity being taken from me.
That happened to me in 2017 as well, but in Singapore. But go on, go on, go on.
For me, it was 2011 in Malaysia,
Okay.
and
What
it was
month?
what month? August, July.
August. Okay.
I think it's no. It must have been July.
Okay, July. July
No.
2011.
June.
June
It
2011.
was definitely June. It was definitely June. Because
Okay.
I remember I was only in China for 10 days and then I went to Malaysia and my school was like, what? I was like, bye.
Yeah.
There's no break or anything. I was just like, I'm going to go to Malaysia. I was going to go there for 14 days, I think. And then
Yeah.
I spent like 3.5 in Thailand. Anyway. So yeah, it was a big event. We went with my friend's entire family, like his parents, his sister, like brother. We go out to this restaurant and it was traditional. I forgot what I think it was Hakka food. It was like
Nice.
very specific Chinese food that I've never had before. And I remember there were not a lot of options for me as a vegetarian, but I made do. Um, and what I ate, it was good. And then they're like, okay, we're gonna eat, you two American boys, we're gonna make you eat durian now. They're like, we're gonna take you to the best spot in all of like
Yeah.
Malaysia, like this best durian stand with the best durian. And we're like, okay, like, and we knew about durian, but we never tried
Yep.
it. It was legendary at this point. So we go and we we go there and there's like they're explaining to us there's like all these different vendors at the durian area and there's like 10 varieties and we're like what, they're like yeah, so and they're explaining like this type is like this thing and that, and I was like what do you think is the best, like I'll just have
Yeah.
that one, and they're like okay yeah, we have like this is like the best kind, I forgot what it was called, but it was a durian. Okay, so I remember I go there and the first instinct, like the first feeling I had was, oh, this smells so good. Like the dirt, like, and I was like, oh, everyone says durian smells bad, but this smells like really good. And I remember my friend, my American friend, was like, he's like, oh no, I think it smells bad. And I was like, really? I feel like it smells nice. Like it's kind of nice smelling. He's like, oh no, it smells horrible.
I am of the opinion that durian does not smell well.
Okay.
I am basic and I
Well,
apologize.
no. We'll wait. Just you wait, because it's a whole roller coaster ride.
Yeah, of course. I just wanted to say that, but go on.
Yeah. So originally I thought it smelled really good. Cut open the durian, and I'm like nervous because apparently it's like, the reputation that's the worst tasting, worst smelling thing on earth, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh God. And I'm like kind of nervous because it looks like custardy. It's not like a normal fruit
Yep.
consistency. It's not like an apple or an orange or anything that I've experienced before. So it's like this like goopy stuff, yellow stuff. And I'm like, I have it here, and I'm like, now as I'm getting closer, I'm like, oh no, maybe it does smell bad. I don't know. And I eat it, and at first I'm like, ooh, it's not bad. And then immediately it tastes horrible, and I'm like, oh.
There's that splash. It explodes in
Yeah.
your mouth. It explodes.
Yeah.
It's something you'll never forget.
And then my friend, who his first reaction is, oh, it tastes horrible. And then he's eating it some more. And he's like, actually, I kind of like it. And he's like, it's weird. And then he thought after that durian smelled good. And then after that, I thought it smelled bad. So it's this total flip of our senses. And it's weird. Like at first I liked it, and then it turned into utter disgust. And then his was the opposite. He was like, it's terrible. Oh, actually, it's not bad. So it's like I want to hear your durian story now. Like I'm very curious.
So it's
I'm
not
very
as
curious.
it's not as exciting. So 2017 Singapore, I was with one of my buddies, and I was like, yo, I have to try durian. Like, this is one of my missions. And he was like, okay, I'll take you to a spot. So we went to one of the, what are they called? Oh my god, I'm blanking right now.
Produce market.
No. It was hawker centers. Sorry,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
hawkers. The hawkers in Singapore. And my friend's like, all right, let me go get you it. And he's like, you know what, I like durian, so if you don't like it, I'll finish it. It's okay. And I'm like, all right, dope. So we get it. I just go gung ho. I take a big spoonful. I'm like, all right, I'm not even gonna. I took a big woof, like a big sniff.
Did you
I'm like, okay,
think it smelled bad?
yeah, smell awful. I just like cut it open with a spoon. Just took a spoonful and just shoved it in my mouth. Chewed, swallow. And my friend took a video of it, and you can clearly see the moment where it exploded. And everything was just like everywhere. And I'm like, yo, I can't have this anymore. Please finish this. And then he's like, I'm sorry. I wish I had gotten you a better quality one. This one's like a 6 out of 10 durian. And I'm like, even like a 10 out of 10 durian would probably yield the same results. My poor soul.
Think about a 6 out of 10 apple, right?
Yeah,
It's
right. 6 out of 10
still
apples,
good.
like it's still good, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
A 6 out of 10 apples, like still pretty good. Like it, it was crazy. But yeah, ever since then, I never tried purely durian. I ate the durian McFlurry in Singapore in 2018, in August 2018, and I thought the vanilla ice cream would help offset the strong, overbearing taste of durian, but it didn't. And I think I got 4 or 5 spoonfuls in until I gave up.
Did you have like I'm curious because I never had McDonald's in Malaysia or Singapore. Do they have a different flavor other than like the apple pie? Is there like a different kind of pie?
I'm not sure. I only had McDonald's that one time to try the durian McFlurry in Singapore. I never had it in Malaysia. Primarily because there's no incentive, there's no incentive unless they had like a particular.
A lot of incentive for McDonald's, just the desserts, pretty much.
Except McDonald's in India, that's a whole different story.
See, I did not go to McDonald's in India, and I kind of regret it.
Yeah, you should. I mean, next time we'll go. Yeah, I went to McDonald's. I went to Burger King. I went to and India is a whole different story. But like again,
Indian Burger King is good.
Indian Burger King is amazing. But heck yeah, on deck, so many different flavors. But yeah, Malaysia didn't offer that, so I'm like, I'm not gonna bother. I remember seeing the McDonald's in like the city, like Bukit Bintang, I believe it's in Bukit.
I saw it.
Yeah, there's a giant.
KL,
KL. There's like a big. There's a big one. There's a big one. Yeah. There's like a big one in like the center of the city. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I appreciate a good. It's like the Times Square McDonald's that doesn't exist anymore now. It's like, oh, cool. There's a flagship McDonald's. Yeah, they got rid of it in Midtown. Yeah, Times Square one, it's gone. Yeah, which is
I have been there a long
time. It's crazy to see it gone.
And that was a 24-hour one, right?
Yeah, I believe so, or at least it was open really late. I have a lot of memories there.
Went to the bathroom at 3 a.m. there, I believe. I think. Not.
I was on a date and she really wanted fries and we went there at like 11 p.m. It was like 4 years ago. Oh, New York. But
I was asking because Chinese McDonald's actually has pineapple pie.
Really? Okay.
And it's deep fried. It's not like, how like the apple pie at McDonald's it's almost like replicating the baked style, right? It's not like a fried thing. But in China, they have a pineapple pie that's like crispy, like deep fried. It's got like chopped up pineapples in it. It's pretty good.
That's pretty cool.
And they have another one. I forgot what the other flavor. It was like peach or something like that. But they didn't. I don't think they had apple.
Maybe because I mean, no, apples are definitely in China for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There are
People
so
eat
many apples in
apples
China.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
that's
thought it was
interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. Again, I don't really know. That's a great question.
Yeah, that was like
Really gets you thinking.
the McDonald's in China. I know were open like at least in Beijing back then were open like 24/7 because we used to go in there after going to the club.
Yep.
And I'd get a burger with no burger.
Classic. Yeah, just that's so funny.
I'd be like,
Oh
well,
man,
it's cheap and I can eat it and I'm starving.
Yep.
So
Yep.
everyone would always. Did people like criticize you for that?
So I never really did it with friends.
I see.
I never. So
I did it out of necessity because everyone was like, "We're going here to eat," and I'm like, I need to eat too."
I just wouldn't eat anything. Or I would just like mooch fries off people. Or get ice cream.
The cookies are pretty good. The desserts are pretty solid at McDonald's for how cheap they are.
Yeah, for sure. The McCafe stuff is actually like really solid. Yeah.
I would tell people though, because I always got criticized for it by non-vegetarians, and they're like, "Why would you spend money on it?" I was like, "Because I'm a human that needs food, and this is what I can eat, and I don't want dessert. I want something savory."
Yeah, sustenance. Like,
have you ever had a grilled cheese? And they're like, "Of course." And I was like, "This is basically that, but not grilled." So,
good. Just like, dude,
how come that's acceptable and this isn't?
True. Oh man, speaking of, I have one to let's revert back to Malaysia real quick. So I have one food story I want to tell.
Okay.
This is like my second trip in 2018. I was with my other friend. We're hanging out for like the second time. We met up in Chinatown because like there's really good veggie Chinese places in the States, like Grasshopper here,
right,
and like other ones in New Jersey, and there used to be one really good one in West Hartford, Connecticut. And I'm like, okay, I found this vegetarian Chinese place in Malaysia. It should be good, right? Like 30% of the population's Chinese here, 30, 40, whatever.
Yeah.
Or 20, I don't know, a high amount of number. Like I'm in Chinatown. Maybe it'll be like the food I had in the States, or maybe it'll be better. I go in, there's the woman running the shop. It's like a full-on restaurant. Doesn't really have teeth. Doesn't really, just only kind of mumbles at us. I believe in Cantonese. It gives us this really shoddy menu that's really scary. And my friend, so she speaks Malay, Japanese, because she's half Japanese, half Malaysian Chinese. So she speaks Malay, Japanese, English, and those three languages. So she speaks those three languages with like full command. Like her English is better than like people I've talked to here. Like it's crazy how super educated she was. So we're hanging out and I'm like, "Hey, did you understand anything that woman said?" And she's like, "No."
And you say she doesn't speak a Chinese language though.
No, I guess not. But like she didn't even try speaking Malay, or when my friend tried speaking Malay to her, she wasn't really getting a reply. Or maybe she does speak some form of Chinese. I don't know. But like maybe she has a handle on Cantonese but anyway, it just wasn't happening. Like there was like no communication. It was so hard. And then I like kept
stuff. And
then some of the dishes were just like didn't seem like they were vegetarian at all. So I went with the mapo tofu. And I had some really mediocre mapo tofu. And I'm like, why?
You have to be careful with mapo tofu, Hiten.
Yeah. I know.
It typically has ground pork powder in it.
Yeah, but it was advertised as a fully vegetarian restaurant.
I know what you mean though. I've been to places that are like, it's vegetarian. And I'm like, because I've been a vegetarian like my whole life.
Yeah.
I can I'm like, wait a second, something's weird here.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're like, oh, chicken stock is vegetarian because you don't have chicken meat, right? And like, no, that's not how it works.
No, it's not how it works. Yeah, unfortunately. But I mean, my stomach didn't feel upset after it or anything. So like, it didn't taste like anything other than like normal mapo tofu. It was just like very mediocre.
I've been to some amazing vegan like Chinese restaurants in China though, like really good stuff, like better than what I've ever had in the States.
That's awesome. I would love
There's
to partake
like,
in that.
yeah, there's a kind of like a Chinese Buddhist style of cooking,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of restaurants like that, and then they throw in some other stuff, right? That's not typically that specific style of cooking. That's just it's all vegan. Not even just
Yeah.
it's like vegan. So
Hmm.
it's pretty popular. Like every major city or even minor cities, you'll find it. I know we're
Is
getting
it a chain?
off topic, but huh?
Is it a chain?
No, they're just
Oh, okay.
random stores. They're actually there is a chain of vegan restaurants around the world. Um, oh my God, what's it called? They have it in New York, I know. I think in Boston. Uh, I need to look this up because I need you to know about it.
Okay.
uh, what is it called? What is it called? This is bugging me. Oh, come on. What is this? Oh, this is not what I look up vegan restaurant chains and it's not it's like what you can get at TGI Fridays. Um no, but anyway, so there's this chain. I'm gonna find it out. But they have locations like all over the world. There's like I think like 30 around the world. And they're all called like slightly different things. But it's run by this lady that's kind of like I don't want to say like a cult leader,
Oh
but
man.
like a very influential individual, right?
Yeah.
And the food is amazing. The people are always nice there. But we found this place in Shanghai actually, right in my old neighborhood, or not Shanghai, Beijing, my old neighborhood
Yeah.
when I went back there with my dad and my friend who I actually went to Malaysia with. Um, and like that place was cool. They didn't have like regular hours. We just walked in the morning, and there's people like sleeping in the booths, and we're like, "Are we supposed to be here?" And then the guy woke up and he's like, "Oh hey, oh what do you want to eat?" We're like, "What?" They're like, "Are you open?" They're like, "We can make food. What do you want?" But they have like this really good food there, and there was actually a whole vegan buffet um in this Chinese city I went to. uh I think it was Zhengzhou. It was like this really random, like it's a city of multi-million people, but
Yeah.
it's a city that like people don't know of unless you're like living in China.
Yeah.
um but excuse me, but it was awesome. We just randomly walk in, and it's like a vegan place, and I didn't know that going in there. And I asked them like, do you have anything that's vegan, because my friend is vegan and I'm vegetarian. So they're like, everything. And I was like, wait, what do you mean everything? They're like, this restaurant's a vegan restaurant. And I'm like, what? And it's
Oh
so
man.
for like it was like I don't know, it was like $8 or something. It's like all you can eat, unlimited food, like all sorts of
Yeah.
food. um and then you only pay for whatever drink you get
Yep.
separately, and it's so good. Anyway, that's my rant about it. But yeah, like if you actually go to China with me, then I will take you to all these restaurants.
That's super exciting. I definitely would be down. 100%. 100%.
um Wait, I feel like we're approaching the end of our list of topics here,
Yeah.
but do you have anything else that you want to like touch
Uh
upon?
so I have like a little funny story. Like a funny story. So this is my second trip, right?
Okay.
Me and my friend we were driving back from Malacca, and on the way back, we went to a restaurant, like a vegetarian restaurant. Like it was specifically like made for vegetarians. I got like a spicy noodle dish or whatever. The food was pretty okay. It was like a spicy noodle tofu soup, whatever dish.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, we're eating. It was a pretty fancy looking restaurant inside. It wasn't like a food stall. It wasn't like a Mamak. It wasn't anything like that. And I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. And then about like 45 minutes or to an hour on the way back, I'm like, hey, my stomach is dying. I need to use the bathroom. I need to use the bathroom, like really, really badly. And then we stop by this gas station, and it's just one of those squat toilets.
Oh yeah.
And like I haven't seen one since 2005.
What
When I was in
2005?
India. When I was in India.
Oh, okay.
And even back then, I always told my aunts, I'm like, I don't want to use this one. It's just so. I'm at this random gas station somewhere in Malaysia. My stomach is on fire. I'm on fire. My bowels are dying, and I'm using the squat toilet for the first time in 12 years.
Yeah.
And the saddest part is like nothing affected my stomach that entire trip.
Right.
Nothing. Oh, actually, 13 years. Over 13 years. Nothing affected my stomach before. Like every time I've gone abroad, I've been okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just never nothing. And it was food from a real restaurant that I paid decent money for that destroyed me, that utterly annihilated me. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And then actually, what was funny about that is my stomach was still hurting on the way up, and I actually did my initial phone interview for the job I have now in my friend's apartment while holding my stomach because it was still in pain. So when we got back to her apartment, I had to I did like a international call through Skype. So like, and it was like late at night, and then it was earlier in the morning in the States, so I was able to have that initial call with HR. And then I'm like, hey, I'm in Malaysia. Yeah, I'm pretty tired, blah blah. It's okay, we can talk. And then while that was happening, I was like clenching my stomach, having the phone on speaker right in front of me like this. I like had my phone like this. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see my phone?
Yes,
like,
yes.
Standing. Yeah. So I'm like this, and I'm like, it was so painful. But yeah, it's like I feel like what's a travel story without like defecation moments?
Oh yeah. Wait, so you used the squat toilet?
Oh, I destroyed it. Yeah.
Did they have toilet paper or?
Oh yeah. So there's no toilet paper. I just had the hose, the bidet.
Oh wait, yeah. That's another thing. Actually, that's another first.
Yeah.
Like when I went to my friend's house, I have to poop for the first time, and I go in the bathroom, and I'm like, I come out and I'm like, where's the toilet paper? And he's like, you don't need toilet paper. And I was like, I think I do. And he's like, no, you don't. You have the hose. And I'm like,
yeah, the hose. Yeah.
The hose? What are you talking about? He's like, here, let me show you. He's like, so, when you go, then you have this thing. And you just use that. And I was like, I don't understand. How do I use that? Like, I just, what? Like, won't everything get wet? And he's like, oh, then you just dry. I was like, how do I dry it? I don't have toilet paper.
Yeah.
He's like instructing me. He's like, no, you got to wet it and then use your finger. And I'm like,
wipe, yeah, and then wash your, yeah. It's just nothing that we're accustomed to. It's like, this is how we know we're spoiled Westerners. Yeah. Like,
well, and his family like had money. Like the house was nice. Like it was not like they were poor at all. So it's like it was more cultural. And then honestly, by the second day, I was like, I want one of these at home.
I mean, like you can never go wrong with the bidet. The bidet, yeah.
But it wasn't a bidet though. It was just like
not bidet, like the hose. The hose.
Yeah, it was like on the kitchen sink, that little like sprayer thing that you can take out, and it's like one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, so like it's already like when you think about like a gas station bathroom in America, it's not a pretty sight. When you think about a gas station bathroom in Southeast Asia, it's pretty much 1-to-1. Like,
oh really?
They're both
much worse.
They're both bad. Yeah, not even that much worse. It's just a squat toilet. I guess that makes it worse. But like in terms of the smells you're gonna smell,
stalls.
No, it was like a single bathroom.
Oh okay. I see.
Yeah, like, oh god, dude, I died so hard. I wish we didn't eat there. I wish I didn't have this memory, but like, it's a good story to tell right now.
Oh yeah. That's the worst thing is like the worst thing like my favorite bar in Shanghai actually, they had squat toilets.
Oh
Um
dear.
and it was this kind of like mini mall situation. So it was shared with a bunch of other businesses, but this
Yeah.
bar, like, and they serve food. Like they're open all night. I think like they closed at like 6 in the morning or something. So it was like a great place to go and chill. Um, La Bamba it was called. It was a Mexican Chinese restaurant, or a Chinese Mexican restaurant, I should say. Chinese
Yeah.
style Mexican food. Um, but anyway, so this bathroom though, first of all, there's no door. It was these like plastic hanging strips. You know what I'm talking about? Almost like
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
walk
Yep.
into like a walk-in freezer.
Yep. I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's very popular in China. I hate it. It's like that's one of the worst things about China because it's like this
Yeah.
dirty plastic that you have to like
Like,
wade through. Like, ugh,
yep.
I hate that. I hate that. Anyway, um, but I guess I don't know. They do it for heating or something. So you go into this bathroom and you have the drunkest people like throwing up, pooping, whatever. There's these squat toilet stalls with no doors,
Yeah.
and and the bathroom doesn't even really have a door. So
Yep.
you just go in there and you're like, okay.
Yep.
And also in China, this is actually one of the worst things about China. I love China. There's a lot of things I love about China. But public bathrooms do not have soap most of the time. There's
Really
no soap
interesting.
and there's no toilet paper. You're most of the time you're expected to bring your own toilet. They actually
B
use toilet paper in China, but they expect you to bring it with you, like on you.
BYOTP.
It's not
BYOTP.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's not actually toilet paper. Most people have those little tissue packs, those like
The
squishy
moist.
little no, like like the portable tissue packs, like rectangles,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
not moist towelettes, like
Yeah,
just
those. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
tissues. And that's what people like, they have it in their pocket. They go to the bathroom, they bring that, and that's the toilet paper. And whatever. I mean, I would have liked that. Someone told me that the reason why they don't have toilet paper in bathrooms in China is because people will steal it. I'm like,
Oh,
who's gonna go to the mall and then take like the toilet paper and then roll it?
I'm sure they're facing issues. That's intense though.
I don't know. I feel like it's just an excuse. And then so that they don't have to pay for toilet paper for their patrons. But then
Yeah.
the no soap, I'm just like, this is a bad idea because you have people pooping
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
washing their hands with just water or not washing their hands. And the amount of
yeah.
times I saw that, I'm telling you, this is disgusting.
I know. I
Like,
know.
and people do
I,
not take their own soap with them. I'm telling you.
I'm glad you're getting this out, but
Yes,
this is all we're
this is
tangenting.
off
Really.
topic. I know, but I had to talk about
I know. I didn't want
my
to end
pet
your
peeves.
momentum. You need to get it out. I get it. I
I
get
need
it.
to get it out, just like when I'm on the squat toilet.
And just like when I need to get it out when I was in squad toilet too.
Yeah, but
And
did they have soap? That's my question.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
my
yeah. They had soap.
roundabout
They
way
had,
of asking if they had soap. Okay.
yeah, they definitely had soap. I
That's
would have
good.
remembered. I would have remembered if they didn't have soap. Like
I
that would
feel
have
like
been
in China
that
it's
would have been like
50-50.
that would have been the like the cherry on top of like the shit cake, like
Yeah, see, I just I don't know. Like I forget about it, and then when I go into maybe the women's bathroom's different. I don't know. But when I go into the men's bathroom, a lot of times in China in public places, I'm like, okay, there's no doors on the stalls. That's one thing, and that's kind of disturbing because
yeah.
you're walking past people literally like pooping. But then also there's no soap, so it's like everyone that comes out, I'm like, uh-oh, I don't want to like touch anybody.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely.
And I'm like hyper aware. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's not like the soap ran out. There's no soap.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was my that's my rant.
I don't know why, but that reminded me of something.
Okay, let's go.
I wanted to tell slash touch upon that I never ended up doing. So my second time in Malaysia. So as I mentioned before, I mainly played Dance Dance Revolution, arcade dance games. That's like a big part of my life.
Yeah.
So I actually went on Facebook before I flew into Malaysia the second time around, because the first time around I wasn't really aware of any sort of community out there because there are no real DDR machines out in the public. There are in Singapore, so I made DDR friends there through the internet. So on a whim, I tried to actually look on Facebook for like a Malaysian group, and there is one for the game series called Pump It Up, which is slightly different from DDR. So
Okay.
it has like the corner arrows in the center. So yeah, so everyone's seen that, right? So there's actually like a pretty dedicated group, and they play at like one of the local malls. And I just typed up this like quick post on the group saying, "Hey, I'm coming from the States. If anyone wants to play with me, I'm happy. I'm able to pass the skill level, but my main game is EDR, but I still like Pump It Up."
Mm.
And some people reached out, but we never really got to meet up. But I did meet up with this one guy who played a game like DDR, the one I play, like Statmania. So he's a Malaysian guy, but he studied in Australia, and him and his friend, who's Malaysian Chinese, made their own DDR pad. Like they made one,
Wow.
and they had a setup at like some small um arcade cafe place or whatever, and I ended up hanging out with them and meeting them. I took like a grab over like my first night, and we just played DDR together, like Statmania, and it was really cool. So when it comes to, I guess, travel tips and stuff like that, I feel like I'm fortunate because I'm able to try to tap into my hobbies and see if my hobbies are international.
Right.
And I managed to have a hobby that was able to bring me that, it's like what Tinder and DDR things that led me to friendships in Malaysia. I'll be real. Like,
That's a good idea though. Like
yeah,
thinking of it that way. Like, what do I do that's more universal? Like something that can, like, I'm already familiar with this community or this thing. Let me try to see if I can see what it's like somewhere else. That's
exactly,
pretty
exactly.
cool. So they
Yeah,
made their own
and
DDR machine
yeah, they
or
made their own like
Statmania, right?
homemade pad, and yeah, we're still friends on Facebook to this day, and like we comment on each other's stuff every so often, and like it's just like cool to know that like they're enthusiasts in this other part of the world, and like if they ever come to the States, they know they can
Yeah,
come hang out with me.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so yeah, I think we've kind of gotten to we've gone over 2 hours now.
Yep.
So Hiten, unless you want to discuss something else or whatever, that's kind of why I was going into my squat toilet story, because I was like, I feel like we're running dry of Malaysia a bit. But yeah, anything else you want to discuss, or would you want to wrap it up? Because I'm down either way.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like milk out everything in my brain, related to like all my fun little
Malaysia.
memories that,
Yeah.
Malaysia has brought me. And again, I'm looking forward to the day I can go back. By some miracle, it'd be awesome to go at the end of 2021 or early 2022, just to like have these good memories relived with even like the same people. I know you've been more trapped than ever. Like I'm pretty much trapped in Boston. Like it's just such a shame. And like I liked having COVID as like a break from the world, but now it's been a bit too long, and the wanderlust is starting to come back to me. And I
Oh,
want to be able
definitely.
to, I want to be able to spend time with my international friends. The people like I develop all these like lasting friendships with, despite being across the world. You know?
No, definitely. Yeah, I feel you with that. Yeah, like Malaysia's on my list of places to go back to the
Yeah.
most. Um, Actually, I'm curious to know, Hiten, like, what countries have you visited more than once? I know obviously Malaysia and Singapore because you said those. Are there
Um,
any one else?
y- Japan, you know that.
Oh, Japan. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. How many
I've
times
been
have you been to
to
Japan?
7.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's I knew it was alive. I didn't know it was seven. That's insane. That's awesome.
Yeah, it didn't really hit me until I said the number. Yeah. I've been there a
Wow.
lot.
Wait,
Yeah, I've been to Japan a lot.
what?
India,
Oh yeah, India.
obviously. India, obviously. Canada, obviously.
Yeah, I've been to
Um,
Canada twice.
um, Korea, can we technically count twice if it's like I went once and then 2 weeks after I went again?
Well, I'm not counting Malaysia as going from China and then going to Thailand and coming back. I'm counting that as one trip.
Oh yeah, I count Korea as like I flew in twice during one Asia trip, so I'll count it as once. Never mind. Yeah, Malaysia, Singapore, India, Japan.
Well, how much time? I'm curious. How much time between the Korean trips were there?
Like 2.5 weeks.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty significant amount of time. And you were
Yeah,
only there one day each.
yeah, no. I flew
Or
into Korea, spent like 5 days there.
oh, okay.
Then I flew to. This is like I did like the whole month-long trip, and then
Right.
I booked a round trip flight to and from Korea back to the States, and then I used
Okay.
Korea. Then I flew back to Korea for like the last 4 days, and then went back home.
I feel like that is a
Yeah,
little
right.
different. I
Yeah,
would kind
it's a
of
little different.
maybe
Yeah,
say that that's twice.
it's
My
twice.
thing I don't count because it was only 3 days
Yeah.
or 3.5, whatever.
Yeah, I went to like four other countries in the
Yeah.
yeah, I technically so it's like a fun it's like a clause. It's
But
like
then,
it's I
oh,
what's
sorry,
up?
go ahead. No,
Yeah, it's like a clause.
I was gonna say like, but then is that my time in China where I was there for 10 days and then went to Malaysia and Thailand
But
and then
yeah,
came back to China?
went back to
Is
China.
that
Yeah,
counted as twice? Because in my head I see it as one trip
yeah.
because
I
I was there for
you
3 months.
you can make an argument for either or.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I'm not counting America. It doesn't count. Your home country doesn't count.
No.
So
Yeah,
Canada
I'm
I've
not
been
even
to
gonna.
twice. China I've been to twice. That might be it. I'm surprised.
Only twice?
Yep.
Wow.
Once in 2011, once in 2017.
So
I've
when you were
spent
there, when you were there in 2011, was it for like a program or was it just
Yeah.
like
language
okay,
program
cool.
that I blew off for 14 days to go to Malaysia and Thailand, and then I went back. I was like excited. I was like, oh my God, I'm traveling. Like it was my lifelong dream to
Yeah,
travel. And so then
dude.
it's like, oh, maybe I'm never gonna travel again. I gotta
Yeah.
see everything.
Yeah, I wasn't traveling in 2011. I'll tell you that much. So,
Yeah. But then you went hardcore now.
oh, after college, yeah.
Wait, so I'm curious, what's your total amount of time in Japan? Like total. How much time have you spent there? Like if you can do weeks or months or
Okay. I can kind of frame this in my head. So first time was all of or a week of May, all of June, to like almost 2 months first time.
okay.
Then all right, let's do 2 months. And then like a week in 2016. So that's 2 months. I'll just call it 2 months total. Another week in 2017.
So a month and a week.
So and then
so far.
another like a week and a half in 2018. Then
Okay.
another 2 weeks
So
in
month and
2019.
2.5 weeks so far. So
and then another 2 weeks September 2019.
so it's almost 3 months now,
And then
right?
yeah, and then like 4 days 2020. So yeah, about
So,
three
like,
3 months. 3 months.
3
Yeah.
months and some change.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
My
crazy.
first trip to China was 3 months.
Oh, wait, you were there for 3 months?
Yeah, in 2011.
Oh, wow.
The
Okay,
entire
that's cool.
summer. And then the second time, 2017, I was there, I think, over 6 months.
Yeah, you're there for a fair while. Yeah.
I think it was like 6.5, something like that.
Yeah.
And
we
then
were
I
like,
had to, this isn't China. So 9 months plus in China proper.
yeah.
And then 4 months in Chinese immersion schools.
True. China, Vermont.
Yeah, Chinese Vermont.
China, Vermont. China, comma Vermont.
So I say I've spent over a year of my life total in a Chinese speaking environment.
Yeah, which is insane. That's awesome. Yeah.
Which I wish was longer, to be honest.
Yeah.
I want to go to Taiwan is my number one location after COVID is done.
Well, I'll go with you. Let's go.
Yeah. I want
to go to Taiwan.
And then I feel like once I'm there, I want to go one other place. And Jaren says that I should go to Japan. And that he wants to come with me for my first trip to Japan, which he's
I know
pushing me to be 2022. So we'll see about that. But
yeah.
I mean, like Japan is high on my list, but I always said that I want to go there when I have a lot of money and a lot of time. Because I feel like going for a few days is kind of a waste.
Oh, definitely. You have to
so
really
far.
invest. You have to invest if you go.
And then I don't want to be worrying about, oh, I've spent like half of all my money now.
No, that's not a fun problem.
Because Japan's not
by any stretch. Yeah,
place, right?
It's not cheap.
Yeah. So, I don't know. What's your number one location after COVID's over to travel?
That's a great question, man. I've been feeling really reminiscent about like my Malaysian memories, hence why we're having this conversation. I want to go back to Singapore and Malaysia, but like they're not. I want to hit up Europe, man. I've never touched Europe.
Europe is great. Like
I've just never been to Europe, and I feel like it's something I should do.
Definitely. I highly recommend it.
Yeah. It'll happen eventually. Dude, at least the UK, like at least London, like even if it's boring, I don't know, even if it's basic, I have a friend in Finland.
Oh wow.
So he's an American guy. So he moved there for work. His company moved him out there and gave him like an international opportunity. Kind of like there's no particular place in my head where like, oh, I have to go here. When COVID, restrictions aren't as, bad, and when the world's a better place, like there isn't like that one country in my head. I'm more stressed out about my day to day.
Right.
Then because I want to find a bigger apartment in Boston and stuff like that. But
I think my number one country to go back to is India.
India, yeah. I want to go back to India too, but like I want to go again with you or like again with my family and do important things together.
I'll go again. We've talked about this. Like I would definitely go to India. I wonder if we could stream IRL stream in India.
I would love to. Yeah, dude, you definitely can. I had data
though.
I had data the entire time.
I had a horrible
IRL
internet experience in India. I had the hotspot, but it kept running out, and it was like it was like a cheap one that my school provided to me.
Oh, okay.
So I think that was part of the problem. It was a Huawei. It was a Huawei.
Oh, yeah. My situation was pretty godly. So I have my work phone, which I'm allowed to use internationally, and it's whatever international connections AT&T has. So I had like a power bank on my work iPhone that gave me data on my actual phone the entire duration of my trip.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was God tier. So
Did you
like
go into Starbucks's?
No, never. I just had tethering data from my work phone the entire time.
I like lived at the Starbucks when I wasn't working.
Yeah,
because
I remember
my work the internet would cut out for hours.
Yeah,
or the power. So it was like, okay, I need to get this work done, but I can't get it done at work. At work, we would just drink chai. Like when this would happen, we'd like drink chai, we'd chat,
just chill, right?
Go,
Yeah.
Like play some games or like, because like there's no computer, there's no internet, and sometimes there's no power. So then like after work, then I'd have to go work at Starbucks.
To actually get stuff done. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're a little less. It's interesting the differences in Starbucks culture. Like in America, you can kind of like do whatever and sit there forever.
Yeah.
only if it gets kind of like full, I feel like. Then
Yeah.
maybe someone will come to you and be like, you gotta like buy something else. Or but I mean, in America you go to Starbucks and go to the bathroom without buying anything, you know.
Hmm.
But in India it's more like, you know, they want you to buy something every like hour or so.
Really?
Yeah. And they kind of like pressure you to do that, or like give up your chair if you've been there for a while. And like, and it was
I
pretty
guess I
popular.
guess if it's packed, because I remember one time we video called, it was packed.
Oh, did I video call you from the Starbucks?
Yeah. It was very, 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 very blurry. But yeah.
Yeah. There's several locations also in Pune, which I thought was interesting because Pune is it's a smaller city, but it's, I mean, it's still substantial. But I was surprised that there was, to my knowledge, there was two Starbucks. One had 2 floors and an outdoor area. It was really big. It
Yeah.
was really nice, actually. But I love Starbucks. It's my sanctuary.
This is where we end the stream.
Yes. All hail Starbucks. No, all right. So yeah, now we're just getting to general travel stuff, which I think is cool. So yeah, I mean, I'm down to do another collab like this. Maybe we'll do something on your channel next, Hiten. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know what the topic will be, but this was fun. And yeah, everyone, whoever's watching, check out Hiten Trivedi. There's his Twitch info right there, right below his head. And his socials have been cycling through at Hiten Mitsurugi _ on Twitter, and just straight up Hiten Trivedi on Instagram, right?
Yep.
There you go. And yeah, I mean, what do you normally like to end it up? Like, what kind of content do you normally do on Twitch? Just for the viewers.
I usually just like, I mean, thanks for hanging. You know, we had some, good old college friends chime in. Again, we're all just like small growing channels. We're just trying to, get fun content out there. Maybe, find people who can relate to our stories and all that fun stuff. And if you ever want to reach out to any of us, we're more than happy to give any travel advice, especially to any of these countries that we're talking about.
Or squid advice.
Squid advice. Speaking of squid advice, we can talk about the true squid in my life.
Oh, that's you painted that yourself, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
Squidward, baby.
Bold and brash. That's so awesome.
Yeah. So remember,
he does rhythm games too a lot.
Love your squid.
Love your squid. You gotta love your squid. All right, so yeah, you'll see this collab happen again, I'm sure. And this is my first time experimenting with more like podcast style content, like interview. So it was a lot of fun. I think we'll get better at it, and we'll do different topics, and we'll see what the audience likes. But yeah, thanks to everyone who chimed in. You can subscribe or view my videos on YouTube. I do content relating to travel, languages, and culture on there in the broad sense, and kind of do whatever I want. And then Instagram is where I post about updates to both my YouTube channel and my Twitch. So check me out there if you want to stay updated as well. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate it. And this was a lot of fun for us. And yeah, I hope that everyone has a good rest of the evening. And yeah, anything to add, Hiten, before we sign off?
For sure. Smash that subscribe button. Hit that like. Tap the bell. Well, that's what all the kids are saying nowadays. Yeah.
That bell.
Yeah, and if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to reach out to any of us. Yeah, just thanks for just listening to our ramblings and musings and all the good memories we've shared.
Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention.
Oh, what's up?
My new little GB.
Oh yeah.
Mascot there. That was done by my good friend Adam. So yeah, he's done some good drawing content. He's got an Instagram. He might do Twitch. He might make a Twitch. But anyway, yeah, it's my kind of Ness persona there.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited about it, so I wanted to just shout it out. And also, I just started a VOD channel, VOD and clips. It's going to be connected to my YouTube channel soon, so you might actually be watching this on there. So if you are,
awesome.
Shout out to you. All right. we're gonna end it here. Thanks everybody. Have a good one.
All right. Have a good night, Ed.
See ya.
See ya.
Ba-do-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-do-ba-ba-ba-ba-do-ba-ba-ba-ba.